Well, it turns out the revolution will not be televised. It was just canceled for low ratings. During yesterday's primaries, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez backed several challengers to Democratic incumbents, progressives. Progressive lawyer Jessica Cisneros failed to unseat moderate Democrat Henry Cuellar. AOC's other favorite candidates disappointed as well. Ian Samuel is a former Supreme Court clerk. 2 years ago on this program, he promised us that socialism will win, and he supported Sanders during his election cycles. Ian Samuel joins us tonight. Now, Ian, we're not here to hold you to your past predictions, considering we predicted repeatedly that Joe Biden would never be the nominee. So, I'm out of the predictions business now.
We're not done yet. Don't worry. We're still going to win. We're just taking a little longer than we thought.
So, is that true? So, just before we get to the ideology, let me ask you, what is the potential path? Sincere question for Sanders to get the nomination.
Well, actually, I feel pretty good about the potential path. If you look at the Super Tuesday states, they are overwhelmingly, you've got a lot of Joe Biden favorable states, a lot of southern states where he did really well. From here on out, that's basically over, and the map gets to be a lot more like places like Michigan, Washington, states that look a lot more like Colorado and Utah than they do like South Carolina. And that's going to be very good for us. And it really reminds me a lot of 2016, except in 2016, we didn't have California and Super Tuesday, and we'd fallen so far behind that after Super Tuesday, we could never catch up. But, I mean, look, the Empire struck back. They were always going to. But the map from here on out actually looks pretty good if we can solve the Elizabeth Warren problem.
So, and I think she's solving her own problem. I read today that her staff is arguing with each other over who has the most privilege. So it's obvious. They've just set it into a hellish spiral of identity politics, not surprisingly. But let me just ask you, everything you said makes sense, except the candidate himself for revolutionary seems kind of beta. I mean, why isn't he pointing out that Biden is the candidate of the neocons, the establishment, the credit card companies? It's all sort of obvious, and he's refusing to say it. Why?
Well, I think if you look at his remarks last night, he did start saying that, right? He's going to be hitting, I think, very hard on Social Security, on Iraq. I mean, today, even just today, he said, no, Joe Biden, you're not the candidate of the black middle class. You're the candidate of the 60 billionaire donors that you have. That's who's really funding this campaign and who stands to benefit. So he's going to hit hard. I mean, look, he's going to hit on substance. That's who Bernie Sanders is, like it or not. But he is going to hit hard, and I like that it's a two-person race now where we can make those contrasts. Because remember, we did this before. Joe Biden used to be in the lead, and then we started talking about what he had actually done in office, and his popularity fell off a cliff. I think there's going to be some serious buyer's remorse once everybody remembers, oh yeah, what about Social Security? What about Iraq? What about trade? I mean, I'd love to see the Michigan ads and the Michigan debate when we start talking about trade and Joe Biden. There are a lot of downsides here for this guy. We've got 2 months left. So I think Joe Biden may have just had his last really great day of the campaign, so I hope he enjoys it.
So last quick question, and we are going to save this tape. I'm going to ask for a prediction. Do you believe that Bernie Sanders would force a confrontation at the Milwaukee convention?
What do you mean by a confrontation? I mean, I think if we were, for example,
and I chose the wrong word, and I shouldn't have said that. And I'm not implying anything, of course, violent, which we abhor. I mean, that he would say, I'm going to contest this. I'm not going to throw my support behind Joe Biden.
If he has the most delegates going into the convention, he is not going to get behind Joe Biden just because the party says so. Now, he said if Joe Biden has the most candidates, has the most delegates, he'll get behind him. But I would expect him to hold out on that endorsement until he could get some concessions the way he did in 2016, because he's going to have leverage, and he's demonstrated that he knows how to use it.
All right. Ian Samuel, thanks so much for that.